Okay, we're going to talk about who creates the money. You have to be specific when you ask somebody and you say, well, what are you talking about? You got to ask them specifically, what is the money? Are you talking about the coins? Are you talking about the paper money that are Federal Reserve notes? Or are you talking about the situation whereby the banks claim they create money? You can't just say who creates the money. There's three different types of things going on here. Learn that in your mind. You must be specific and tell me which money that you're talking about because they're not the same thing. Coins aren't the same thing. The Federal Reserve notes aren't the same thing. And the banks claim that they create money is not the same thing. So I want you to distinguish the difference. We're here to clean up the confusion with the work of Merrill Jenkins, who wrote the book Money, the Greatest Hoax on Earth. Now, when the average person asks who creates the money or who makes the money, the people generally say the government creates the money. The Federal Reserve notes are created at the Bureau of Printing and Engraving, and the coins are created at the U.S. Mint. There's the websites there. Now I'm going to show you how the bank's information is lying and misleading and telling you that, oh, you know what I'm talking about. They say the government is printing the money and they're deceiving you when they're talking about this. They're being mentally lazy and not specific to you because the average person doesn't know what's going on. And I'm going to give you the basic information. The banks do not create money and the banks do not loan you money, and I'm going to prove it. You will look at the high school economics and college textbooks in a different way because you'll see that I'm telling you the truth, and the college economics books don't give you information explaining fractional reserve banking too, which is partly why the banks claim they create money. That's illegal and immoral, and it's wrong. We have to face this at some point. These economics books and these YouTubers don't even explain the difference between fractional reserve banking when they had gold as reserves from 1913 to 1933. How can you have a fractional reserve banking if you don't have any money as metal, as the reserves from 1934 on? There was no metal as reserves. How can you do that? That's ridiculous. So the money hucksters on YouTube will say something vague about money, and then they can't explain to you that the IMF World Bank practices fractional reserve banking with gold as reserves. It's called SDS, special drawing rights, and most YouTubers don't know. They won't tell you because they don't know. They simply don't know. They're stuck in a mindset. Okay, I'm going to teach you to understand the fraudulent loan process at the banks too, where you think you're getting a loan and going to the bank, you're signing a promissory note that's called a loan document, and the banks will loan you a pen, and that's it. They'll loan you a pen to sign your life away. In order for you to understand what I'm saying, first you have to understand we don't need the paper money at all right now. Right now, in 2025, we could function completely in this United States without the Federal Reserve paper money at all. You could throw it all away, burn it. We don't need it because all we're doing is changing numbers in each other's accounts and using the technology devices, and we're just changing numbers in accounts. We're not giving each other digital money. That's a bunch of nonsense. You don't give people a number. Think, is money a number or is it the paper? The paper is just there as evidence of debt from the commercial bank's promissory notes. You're going to have to think and learn this. Some of you have the physical paper money called Federal Reserve notes and say, well, the bank did loan me this Federal Reserve notes, and the Federal Reserve notes are a token, like a token at a car wash. They're not redeemable in anything. They're worthless pieces of paper, and you don't understand the difference because the college and economics books in school didn't teach you anything. You have to read your financial history and understand what happened to the Continental Dollar. That was a disaster. Well, we're right back at the Continental Dollar. We got a worthless piece of paper. We're passing it around, and we don't think it's anything wrong with it. We just say, well, okay, it'll still buy me a car and a house and a loaf of bread. Well, that's nonsense. I called a talk show one time, and the stupid talk show said, well, as long as I can buy a loaf of bread. Well, that's not intelligent thinking at all. So think about this. The prices of stuff has doubled in the last 3 years. You want that to double again? Think about it. Just because what we're using is money, and the legal tender laws. If you just want to keep working your butt off, then go ahead. Keep working harder and stay ignorant. But I'm teaching you the works based on Merrill Jenkins, so listen up of you that want to get smarter. If you want to keep working harder and harder, go ahead. The prices are going to go up. They can't go down. The price has doubled in the last years. Quit crying and complaining since you don't want to learn about the subject money from the truthful person like myself. I spelled Merrill Jenkins wrong. I'm sorry about that. It should be Merril. But you're listening to the hucksters on YouTube and the incorrect information from your high school teachers. They don't know what they're talking about. You have to see the whole picture of what's going on when the money expands based on debts and loans in the entire country. Nobody prints up money and sends it into the economy debt free. That's a bunch of lie. The government doesn't give the banks free money. That's a big lie. The the economy doesn't expand based on economic activity. That's a big lie. The money increases because of loans. We're stuck. You may not be in debt, but the entire country functions in a state of debt. I want you to rethink what I just said. The entire economy functions based on debt as money. We're using loans as money. We have monetized debt. That's why they call it fiat money. That's a Latin term named by kings of the old days of let it be done. They don't care. The kings say, too bad. You get fiat money. Fiat means let it be in Latin. So keep on learning. If you want to stay ignorant, go ahead too. I don't care. But I'm going to teach those that want to learn.